Hello and welcome again to another episode of Screen Facts with Jason Davis. It's been a little while.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
So joining me for this episode is the person I love more than anybody on the planet and one of the greatest people I've ever known.
Oh, come on.
My lovely and incredible wife, Sue Mandzik Davis.
Oh, honey. Oh, boy, everybody. We are stupid for each other
We
still.
are. Stupid indeed. Because it's October, this time of year we like to delve into the horror genre.
I love this time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so today's episode, we are going to focus on a great movie,
Oh, yeah.
An American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
We're going to give away a lot of the movie. We're going to say a lot of spoilers. So if you've never seen An American Werewolf in London, stop listening now.
We'll see you in a few.
Rated R. Released August 21st, 1981. Odd.
Right?
You know, it's kind of interesting because...
August 21st.
Yeah.
That's not even Labor Day.
Yeah, that's not even close to Halloween time.
Right.
I guess because the movie is sort of... It's almost like a horror comedy.
True.
You know,
It's a little more lighthearted than some.
Yeah, I mean, there's comedic moments.
Yeah.
I wouldn't classify it as a comedy.
No, I wouldn't either. It's downright tragic, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, as far as I'm concerned, way ahead of its time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
for a movie that's almost 45 years old at this point, right? Is my math right?
No, that can't be right.
Yeah.
No.
Next year will be 45 years.
Come on. I guess that's why I don't remember ever seeing it in the movies.
I didn't either. I saw this movie for the first time, I think, on HBO.
Okay.
Probably about a year after it came out. And so I'm about maybe 13 years old at that time.
Oh, that's a perfect time to see it.
Yeah, I had the coolest mom ever.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
she let me watch
yeah.
rated R movies and stuff that I probably had no business watching. You know, in this movie, well, there's not really nudity in this, is there? I mean, there's male nudity.
There's, yeah, you do get to see that. Well, there's the shower scene and there's a lovemaking scene, but I think there's really
But they don't
only
show anything,
one,
really, right? There's
I think
maybe
there's
a
only
little,
one time
a
you
little
get a little
nip,
bit of a slip, but
little nip slip.
yeah, but it's a whole lot of side
Maybe
boob.
some side boob.
You
yeah.
got side boob there.
But it's not like as gratuitous as a lot of movies at this time.
True.
But we were talking when we were watching the movie again
Yeah.
recently, and we decided to do the podcast about it. One of the things about this movie, obviously, is there's a lot of moon-related songs in it.
Yeah.
Blue Moon, Bad Moon Rising. And my favorite
Of
is
course. I wonder
Moon
why.
Dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I mentioned this when we were watching, how every time I hear the Van Morrison song Moon Dance, it reminds me of the scene in the movie where they're in the shower and they're, they're kissing each other and getting wet together and everything else. And then it turns into the full-on love scene. Love scenes in movies are kind of odd, right? Because it always feels a little forced.
Yeah.
It feels it's kind of
A little
weird.
staged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit, but I don't know, it kind of works in this movie because it's pretty realistic. It's not like they're not doing...
That's true.
You know.
And they're not like... Never mind.
Not pouring honey on each other and, stuff that most people don't normally do, probably. I mean,
Oh,
most.
they don't?
Oh.
Cut that part out.
No, I'm leaving it in.
Oh!
I'm even leaving the part in where you said cut that part out. Yeah, so that scene in the movie, obviously as a 13-year-old, really resonated with me. Because it's, it's kind of hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the song is hot, and that's like it
is,
really works
yeah.
for the scene.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great song anyway.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
Yeah.
The song is kind of sexy anyway, but then when you pair it with that scene, keep in mind, 13, believe it or not, that was the first time I really heard that song. Like,
Okay, no, that makes sense.
because I just didn't grow up around a Van Morrison fan.
Right. We have different upbringing because
Right.
with me having my older brother and sister being a bunch older than me,
Right.
I knew that song because that song was one of my sister's prom themes.
Oh, wow.
At one point. Yeah, it was Moon Dance.
Yeah.
So that's how I knew it.
I'm sure they weren't showering at the prom, though.
Probably not because she went to another Catholic all-girls school, high school.
97-minute running time, rated R, directed by John Landis, written by John Landis, produced by George Falsey Jr. So John Landis had a string of really great movies. This wasn't his first movie. He actually wrote the screenplay for this. The first draft of the screenplay was written in 1969, but he wasn't able to get financing for more than a decade because a lot of the people who he pitched it to thought that it was like, is it horror? Is it a comedy? What's going on here? And I guess at that time, people didn't combine the two. Nowadays,
nowadays there's
Zombieland,
tons.
there's like a whole bunch of movies that have come out that really kind of blend the two a little bit in a perfect way.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if this was one of the first then.
I'm thinking
in that case.
Probably.
Because, I mean, I remember, you think back to those cheesy horror things from the 80s. They were definitely done tongue-in-cheek.
I mean, even movies that were really traditional slasher kind of films, like A Nightmare on Elm Street. Eventually, maybe not the first one, but eventually, and we'll talk about A Nightmare on Elm Street in another podcast probably, but there were elements of humor in those movies. Freddy Krueger almost became an anti-hero. People started to root for Freddy because he was just like cool and he had like one-liners and stuff. So, yeah, I think this might have been groundbreaking in that regard, where they mixed a little bit of comedy in there. And John Landis was known for doing comedies throughout a lot of his career. I mean, Animal House, Trading Places, Coming to America.
So those are full-out comedy. Had he written any horror things before?
To my knowledge, this was the first.
Okay. His foray?
Yeah. And actually, because Michael Jackson was such a big fan of this movie, he actually called John Landis to direct the Thriller video because of his love for this movie. And there's a lot of elements in the Michael Jackson Thriller video that borrow from this movie, including the great Rick Baker, the makeup artist who revolutionized the makeup industry. In fact, his work on this film was the first movie to win Best Makeup at the Oscars. The category was created because the work he did in this movie was so amazing.
That's something.
Yeah. And then, he went on to be the makeup guy for a lot of movies.
Yeah.
But he also did the Michael Jackson's Thriller. And let's talk about that.
Well, one thing you got to remember, kids, is this is 1981.
Yes.
So there's no CGI.
Right.
There's no computers doing any of this. This is all hands-on stuff.
Practical effects,
Yeah. So,
puppetry and...
Yeah, if you want to see a head of someone that's starting to look like something else, you have to make a cast. You got to build it yourself.
Yeah, and that was tough for the actors back then, too.
Didn't he have some really rough makeup sessions? Like, he'd have to get there at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, so let's talk about the cast really quick. I mean, there weren't a lot of big stars in this movie. David Naughton he's the main lead, David Kessler. At that point, I don't know that he had done a lot of acting. And if he did, it was not in anything big.
Yeah.
He had a big hit with the song Making It.
It is. I was wondering if it was the same person.
Yeah, which was used in, we talked about Meatballs on the podcast way back, and that song was used in that movie.
Oh,
in the big dance scene.
I was thinking, this name is so familiar. Is this the same guy?
That song was also used in the film Detroit Rock City, the Kiss movie.
Okay.
There it is, the Kiss mention.
Okay.
So I gotta make sure I get
Says
that in.
the guy in the Kiss shirt.
That's right. Jenny Agutter, I guess is how you pronounce her name, plays the nurse Alex Price in the movie.
Right. Now, I knew her because she was in Logan's Run.
Okay.
Which came out in the 70s, and I really hope that we can do a podcast about this one day, too. As a kid, it scared the bejeebers out of me because, it was this dystopian... Oh, maybe that's where my love of all of that came from.
Oh, maybe.
It was this dystopian, futuristic thing where no one was supposed to live past the age of 21.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
but that's where I knew her from. I was like, wait a minute, that's the girl from Logan's Run.
Yeah, that came out in 76. I'm sure I saw the movie. I could watch it now. It'd be like watching it for the first time. I don't remember a lot of it.
I remember
Michael York.
Yeah,
was
I remember
co-star.
a couple of disturbing things. I think. Yeah.
All right, so we'll have to check that out, and that might be worth talking about. And then the other main star in this movie is Griffin Dunne.
Yeah.
As David's friend Jack Goodman. Griffin Dunne had done a few things. Johnny Dangerously comes to mind. He was Michael Keaton's younger brother in that movie.
Right.
Yeah, so Johnny Dangerously came a couple of years after this, and then a year after that, he did After Hours, a Martin Scorsese movie with Rosanna Arquette and some other people.
Can I just say one thing about Griffin Dunne?
Sure.
Also, they start off the movie with them hiking through England. They're getting out, of the truck with all the sheep in it. I think they even ad-libbed those lines like, bye girls, I'll miss you or something.
Yeah, the sheep.
Yeah. And they wander to the bar. They don't really stay that long before they're sent out again.
Right.
They're told, stay on the road. They don't. You're like, oh, come on.
In the movie, it doesn't even seem like they venture off the road on purpose. I think they're just caught up in their conversation.
Yeah. I mean, we're watching their feet going, guys!
Stay on the road.
But then he's attacked and he's killed. And it's relatively early in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I watch movies from a certain point of view sometimes where I'm like, oh, sucks to be that actor.
Right.
Because, now they're dead. But the great thing about this character is he keeps appearing throughout the movie.
Right.
And all
Spoiler alert.
In all these different phases of decay.
Yes.
Which is just so cool.
Yeah. And that's the genius of Rick Baker, too. and we watched a little featurette after we watched the movie on the Blu-ray. There was a couple of featurettes, and I'm fascinated with the makeup in this movie because it was so groundbreaking and it's done so well. Rick Baker talked about how when you're doing makeup, especially when you're working with latex and stuff, and again, they don't do any of that now probably. Like it's so much easier to do it with computers probably.
Yeah.
It's easier to add things to a character to make them look a certain way than it is to take things away.
Right, like flesh.
Right, exactly. And so like as Jack progresses in the movie, he's decaying.
Yeah.
Because he's dead, but he's in limbo because of the curse of the werewolf. Until the bloodline is severed of the werewolf, any kills that he makes walk the earth in limbo.
Right.
That's a little bit of strangely part of the comedy of the movie.
Right.
How he, then Jack introduces him to all the other people he kills.
Right.
And the various states of decay they're in.
Yeah.
I know he's I almost didn't want to introduce you to him because he's a fresh kill and he's really gross or whatever,
Yeah. And then by the end, he's practically skeletal.
Totally skeletal.
In fact, it's like there's very little flesh left on his skull.
And that was the challenge for Rick Baker. It's like, well, how do you take away?
Right.
So they ended up making a puppet of Griffin Dunne. And Griffin Dunne actually operated the puppet to make the mouth move as he was doing the dialogue. I mean, you could tell it's a puppet, but it's still cool because, again, 1981, and the movie, if it was released in 81, maybe made a year earlier, let's say. Like you had to come up with creative ways of doing shit back then.
Yeah, you got to look at it through 1981 eyeballs.
Totally. But the great thing about it is almost 45 years later, it holds up.
It does.
It's still brilliant. And I think that's why, for example, the early Star Wars movies work from the 70s and early 80s because they were all done with practical effects, puppetry,
E.T.
E.T., exactly.
Yeah.
The makeup was a little challenging for the actors. That's because in order to do these kind of effects where it's really gross and really graphic looking, it takes a long time to create that in the makeup chair.
10 hours.
Yeah.
For the werewolf, a lot of the werewolf stuff.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure like when you're having that kind of makeup done, you're not literally sitting for 10 hours in a row. Like maybe you get up, you walk around, maybe you get a little snack.
Yeah, at a certain point, you're going to have to start going through a straw.
Yeah, exactly.
For anything you want to drink. I wonder if you can actually rest your eyes while you're there too. I mean, that's
Probably.
a full day's work right there.
Oh, absolutely.
More than a full day's
work. Well, that's
work.
the thing. Imagine sitting in a makeup chair for 10 hours and then having to shoot scenes.
Yeah,
like you have to work yourself up as an actor to do stuff.
Yeah, you've become one with that chair, and now it's time to get up and move.
David Naughton definitely said it was a little tricky at times.
Yeah.
And, as far as Griffin Dunne goes, he said that the first time he saw himself in the mirror with that freshly killed, bloody look, like it was emotionally unsettling.
Yeah.
And he was afraid people were going to be so focused on that they wouldn't really recognize his performance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, especially that one little flap of skin on his neck that kept moving.
Yeah. It's really gross. But it's so effective. It's really an art form that sadly is lost nowadays. You could do so much more now.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there's still prosthetics and stuff.
I know, but like most stuff like that is done with computers.
Yeah, especially transformation scenes.
Yeah, exactly. And let's talk about that.
Okay. Whenever I mention this movie to anybody, I mentioned it to a guy I work with who is actually from London.
Shout out to Mike.
The first thing he said wasn't it so smart? It would make so much sense that if you're going through this, it would hurt.
Yes.
And
I even said that when we were watching. Yeah. I never really thought about it before.
They start with the hand, showing the hand and the fingers and the part of his hand by the knuckles growing.
Into essentially a paw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to hurt.
Yeah. And in past werewolf movies, especially like the real old ones, like with Lon Chaney and stuff.
Yeah.
When they would show the transformation, most of it would be done with sort of camera tricks where they would cut away and then, and shadows and all kinds of stuff like that.
But they filmed it like natural light. So there's no shadows to hide behind.
Yeah. John Landis really wanted the audience to feel, and I even said when we were watching, I'm like, this is very visceral. Like you go, oh my God, you could feel how much pain he's in.
Yeah.
And again, credit to David Naughton for his performance too, because it's sure the makeup and the transformation, everything that's done with the puppetry and everything else is very cool.
Yeah. The hair growing,
all those effects are amazing.
Yeah.
But if David Naughton doesn't sell it well, it might fall flat a little bit.
Yeah. Like, oh, ow.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously an exaggeration, but but he really,
Yeah. I mean, we were actually watching it thinking, okay, this is an apartment building. Wouldn't the neighbors be coming running?
Yeah. Aren't the neighbors hearing this? Exactly. But, there's a lot of stuff in most movies, especially this one, where you do have to suspend disbelief a little bit.
Yeah.
It's so well done.
So cool.
And again, way ahead of its time.
Yep.
Nobody was making a full transformation on screen.
The human face into the snout, that transformation, you watch it happening because they built the molds. Didn't they make it? What did they make it out of?
They had a name for those.
Yeah.
Change-o heads.
Change-o heads. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, so they made molds of David Naughton's head and limbs and stuff in order to pull it all off.
Yeah, and they had different stages of the transformation, but because it was soft, you could actually push it from the inside. But from the outside, you can't see the push. You just see the change happening.
Yeah.
That's so smart.
It's really cool.
So cool.
You can watch it over and over again and try and figure out all the, but it's done so well that it's really convincing.
Yeah. And then when he's, down on all fours like a regular wolf, was it Rick Baker and John Landis who disagreed about should it be a four-legged or a two-legged wolf?
Yes. So Rick Baker wanted him to be a two-legged creature.
Okay, like Lon Chaney.
Yeah. Typical. Most werewolves, I think, because they're half man, half wolf.
Yeah.
So he becomes a full-on wolf, essentially. And when he's a full-on wolf, he's on all fours.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so cool how they did that. Yeah, so Rick Baker and John Landis disagreed on that, but obviously, the director's in charge. He gets to make that call.
Yeah.
So he becomes a four-legged wolf, full hair, full wolf.
Yeah.
When he is on all fours, I thought it was really great, because that was a challenge for Rick Baker. How are we going to do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Without it looking weird or whatever.
Yeah. Two people in a suit,
Exactly. So what they ended up doing, Rick Baker, I don't know if you remember from being a kid or something else. Remember when you were a kid and you would do a wheelbarrow race where somebody would be behind you holding your ankles and you would be on your arms. Yeah. And you would walk with your hands.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the concept.
Do kids do that anymore?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'm showing my age.
We
but
did.
That was a thing.
Yeah, that
especially
was fun.
back in the early 80s, late 70s, whatever.
Early 70s.
Yeah, so they created almost like a dolly. I don't think it was David Naughton doing that stuff. It was probably a stunt person. And there would be somebody, so you never really see the back half.
Yeah.
There's maybe one scene where you see the full body. So I'm not 100% sure how they did that.
Yeah.
I forget.
Yeah, but in the crowd,
Yep.
I know you see just the front, and coming around in the subway too, when he comes around the corner, you just see the front.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the other thing that I was really enjoying when we watched it again. The camera work. They make you feel like you are the wolf at times. There's dream sequences that David has when he's in the hospital where he's running through the woods.
Yeah, and you're the one running through the woods.
Right. You feel like the camera's going through the brush and stuff. It's very cool.
And again, remember, kids, this is 1981. There are no GoPros.
That's right.
Just saying.
That's right. It was all on dollies and stuff, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe they did Steadicam stuff for that.
There's no drones back then.
No, it's really...
You had to do it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Even the sound of the wolf howling was creative.
Yeah.
John Landis really wanted it to be, wanted the audience to feel something
Feel
and stuff.
the horror of it.
It was a combination of a lion, a panther, a locomotive, distant pig farm noises, all combined to make the howl sound.
Yeah.
So cool. It's just the creativity. And it's not taking anything away from the creativity that's involved with computer-generated stuff, because that's artistry too, no question.
Yeah. In a lot of cases, though, these people were figuring out things that were never done before.
Yeah,
I don't know how much unexplored territory there is anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And back then, they definitely were breaking ground in terms of what you can do, with practical effects and stuff. I was just reading about a scene that was toned down a little bit. Jack comes to visit David in the hospital. The first time you see him, he's gross. He's really mangled.
Yeah, freshly ripped open.
When Jack gets killed, his throat gets ripped out and stuff, right? So when he comes to visit David for the first time, David's in the hospital and he has the breakfast in front of him.
Oh, right, and he doesn't want to eat.
Yeah, so Jack takes a piece of toast.
Oh, that's
so
right.
So originally,
and he dips it in the yolk and takes a bite.
So originally, the toast was just going to fall out of his ripped out throat.
Oh, that's
and
great.
that was just too much, I guess, for the rating board or whatever.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
You know what? They could get away with it now, probably.
Yeah, I bet.
But back then it was just too much. They wanted to get at least an R rating. They didn't want it to be like a NC-17 or X, whatever it was back then. Pretty cool. And then there was also more of a graphic scene with the unhoused people that the werewolf gets.
Yeah, you don't really see much.
You don't see any.
It's
What happened. And then, of course, they show them later on.
Yeah. I have to admit, the scene that happens when they show up at the pub,
The slaughtered lamb.
The slaughtered lamb. I love that scene so much. I don't know why. Like the atmosphere that they create was so cool. And it's funny to think that the outside was just like an old cottage that they dressed and then they went and filmed somewhere else.
Yeah, the interior was a totally different location.
Yeah. The magic of movies. You think you walk through a door and you're in the same place.
Of course.
I have dreams like that actually.
Oh, that's wild.
Isn't that funny? Like you're someplace and then you're someplace else. It's a very dreamlike thing.
Yeah.
They walk in and the whole room gets quiet, and all the British guys, like just turning and staring at them. And
it's almost like a movie that takes place in the Old West.
Yeah.
And the doors swing open.
Yeah.
And then
and they're just looking around and they see that star on the wall. It's like, well, what is that? Why is that there?
2 candles on either side.
Yeah, like, should we ask about that? What, are you crazy?
Yep.
And then, of course, when he does, it just,
they
silences
kick him
the
out.
room all over again.
Yep.
The guy misses his dart toss.
Yep. I never miss.
Yeah. And then the doctor goes back later and it's that rainy scene. I don't know. There's something about the atmosphere of that's just so cool to me.
And actually, John Landis purposely filmed in like February and March
that's right.
in England.
Yeah.
Because he knew it would be cold. And again, when they're walking through the moors, like you see their breath and you feel how cold it is and how, you kind of feel what the actors feel.
Yeah. I just love that. And plus, to me, that starts setting the whole tone for this time of year.
Yes.
Where it is cooling off and it is getting a little more dreary at times, but there's something that's very, I don't know, cool about it.
And I think it sets the tone for the movie, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if this took place in a tropical-like atmosphere.
An American Werewolf in
Fiji.
Bermuda, Fiji. Yeah. I don't know about that.
One of the funny scenes in the movie is after he turns into the werewolf for the first time.
He gets all hot and he rips off his clothes.
Yeah. Again, brilliant because his clothes don't have to rip or anything because he strips down naked because of what he's going through during the transformation.
Yeah.
He transforms in Alex's apartment. He leaves.
Goes on his
killing spree.
Rampage.
Yeah. And then he wakes up the next day in a wolf enclosure.
Yeah. Naked at the zoo.
Naked in a wolf enclosure in the hay.
He would not have gotten dressed.
Right, no. That's I guess the life of a werewolf, right? Not
Hide a
necessarily
nickel.
always waking up in a wolf enclosure, but for whatever reason, that's where he ends up. And the wolves in the enclosure are very calm.
Yeah.
They're just kind of sniffing him.
Yeah, because they, I guess, recognize him as a brother.
Right. And that's what I said. I said, it's kind of cool. Like, it looks like they acknowledge him as an alpha of some sort.
Yeah.
Which, and now wolves, like when we went to the wolf preserve in Jersey, they talked about how wolves aren't necessarily like going to attack a human being anyway, most of the time.
Yeah.
But for the purpose of the movie, for filming that scene, the wolves were fed right before they started shooting, obviously to make sure that they weren't going to think of David Naughton as, dinner,
Yum, hamburger. Yeah, there was no like glass wall or anything between
No,
them.
he was in there with the wolves, no question.
Oh my gosh.
He was like, let's do this quickly, please.
Let's move along.
Yeah. But the handler said, listen, no loud noises, no sudden moves, and you'll be okay. But that's probably a little scary, being in an enclosure with wild wolves. But I guess assuming that they were actually zoo wolves, they were born in captivity and the whole thing, they're probably used to interacting with humans a little bit, I would think.
At least it's people bringing them food.
Exactly.
Can you imagine the waivers that he probably had to sign to take on that acting job?
Yeah. That's... It's scary, probably.
You're going to run around naked through a forest in, winter.
And he had to do that barefoot. Keep that in mind,
that's
too.
right. Barefoot, too.
You don't really see his feet, but like I did read that, like, it was challenging.
Yeah.
Running around in the woods barefoot and even in the zoo. So he wakes up in the wolf enclosure naked.
Right.
He climbs out, hiding behind things.
Yeah.
And then there's a little boy with a bunch of balloons. He calls him over.
Yeah.
He takes the balloons from the kid to hide his junk.
And the woman he runs past.
Yeah. So that's a funny thing. So the woman was told that a man would emerge to speak to her in the scene.
Yeah.
But she wasn't told that he was naked.
He'd be naked. And let me tell you something, her reaction was pretty calm.
Yeah.
Like she was just like, she made eye contact with him only.
Yeah.
She's like, oh.
I mean, you have to think that she was a little bit older, so she's probably seen a few dicks in her life.
Oh, God.
It's not like she's her first rodeo.
Wow.
Probably her first time seeing a naked man in a zoo setting, but...
I wonder if it was her first naked American.
Oh, maybe. You never know.
I don't know.
But it was very...
No, but she was just like looking at him, like,
It's a great scene in
Yeah,
the movie
yeah.
for sure. He sees her and he's like, good morning, and he moves on.
Yeah.
And then the next scene, they just show him running,
Yeah.
and as he's running past the bench where a couple are sitting, he
That's
just
what it
swipes a
was,
woman's
yeah.
overcoat.
Yeah.
And that's what he covers himself with.
Yeah.
Then he's waiting at the bus stop.
Yeah, barefoot. And I always thought it was interesting that there was 2 nights that he transformed, 2 nights in a row.
Yes, because the next night is
There's
also a full moon. Yeah,
'cause,
and like
I mean, technically, on the calendar it'll say there's 1 full moon a month, but I guess the phase of it is actually a few days.
yeah, and that's the whole purpose of Jack's character.
Right.
Like after Jack is killed, the reason he keeps visiting David is to say, David, you got to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't kill yourself, not only are you going to kill more people, but I'm going to have to walk around like this
Yeah.
until you're dead.
Yeah.
And everybody you kill is going to have to walk around like
Right.
this. Jack visits him in a couple of places. First, it's the hospital. And then the second time he visits him is in Alex's apartment. The final time that Jack visits him,
Yeah.
he shows up in Piccadilly Circus, which is almost like Times Square.
Yeah.
And there's a porn theater, a porno theater. And I really think they missed an opportunity here. The name of the movie, the porno that's playing in the theater is See You Next Wednesday.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
See You Next Tuesday
Come on.
would be so much funnier.
That's true.
Although I don't know if that was a thing back then.
Oh, I don't know.
That's what people say when they don't want to say the C word.
Right.
He buys a ticket, he goes in, and Jack, calls him over to the back
he's
row.
in the back row. All of the people that David has killed so far are all there.
Right, and he introduces them one at a time.
Yeah. When he starts saying, well, how would I kill myself? They all have ideas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you could,
A gun would be good.
Yeah.
And it's funny in the British accents and stuff.
Everything's funnier in the accent.
Yeah. Let's talk about the end of the movie.
Okay. I'm not really sure I like the ending that much.
Yeah.
It's kind of cuts right off.
Yeah. So the way the movie ends, he busts out of the porno theater after transforming. They try to gate him in there, but he busts through the gate. And then he just kind of goes on a rampage in Piccadilly Circus.
Right.
He doesn't really kill. He's sort of like
Yeah,
snapping his jaws and people are running and like there's, a big bus accident
Right,
and all kinds
yeah.
of, I mean, it's a cool scene.
Yeah.
And then he ends up running down like an alleyway,
Yeah.
like a dead end alleyway, and the cops kind of corner him in there.
And then Alex shows up. She is, talking to him, I love you. And they show
There's that one great moment.
that where his face actually like just kind of
Softens.
loses all of the anger for a split second.
Like he understands that
Yeah.
this is a woman who loves him, that he
Yeah.
loves. Like
Yep.
there's that still that David's still in there.
Yeah. But then it comes back again.
Yeah, and then he snarls his teeth and is just about to like launch himself at her.
Yeah.
And then all the guys with the guns and
Yeah.
the scopes, back at the end of the alleyway, they open fire on him.
Yeah.
And then
then once he's dead, he transforms back into the human.
with all the bullet holes.
Yeah.
And he bleeds out and
And the
roll
end.
credits.
Yeah.
What would you have
honestly-
done differently there? It does feel a little unsatisfying.
Well, I think it's because with me, I'm so used to a movie having a denouement that just like little 2-minute scene after where it's the final wrap up.
Yeah.
And most movies have that, unless it's like Blair Witch. Even just show her sobbing. Something. You know what I may have added?
Go ahead.
A cut to maybe a few weeks later where she realizes she's pregnant.
Who knows? Maybe John Landis wanted the audience to come up with that on their own. I guess when the movie came out, they had no plans for a sequel.
Yeah. I don't think they used protection when they were moon dancing.
No,
if you know what I mean.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun, but he was raw dogging it.
Oh, no, you did.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, so the ending of the movie is a little dissatisfying.
Yeah.
The movie doesn't have to have a happy ending, but I feel like it's not just David's story.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Jack's story. It's all the other people that David kills.
It's Alex's story.
It's Alex's story. And at
It's
the very
even-
least,
yeah.
they could have, like you said, a quick scene where we find out that she's pregnant and then leave it. And even if they never made a sequel, that's still a satisfying ending.
Yeah.
It feels a little less abrupt.
Right.
But, look,
I mean, it's still awesome.
it's still, it's a great movie and groundbreaking with the
Yep.
makeup and
Yep.
effects
It's,
and
the
the mix of comedy and horror.
The comedy with the Scotland Yard guys, especially the one who's like
Yeah.
so clumsy and can't tie his tie and everything. It's like just got great moments all through it.
Yeah. Well, that's all I've got for an American Werewolf in London. You?
Yeah, that's all I have too.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for a great episode.
Thank you, honey. This was so much fun. This was great. It's great to be back.
Yeah, and thanks for listening to Hey, if you want to reach out to us, you can email screenfacts@yahoo.com if you have any questions, comments, or movie that you'd like us to talk about that we haven't covered. Or you can find us on Instagram at ScreenFactsPod. And the Screen Facts Podcast is a production of Jason Davis VoiceOver. Please visit jasondavisvoice.com for more details. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.